So here we have our WiFly NE1, and the first step that you want to do when you're setting it up is you want to take your USB stick that comes included with your WiFly NE1 controller and make sure that all your profiles are loaded into the USB drive. So the first thing you want to do is you want to plug it in, but you want to reset your controller, turn it back on so that it will read your USB drive. Okay, so now we've already inserted our USB drive. Let's go ahead and go through the main menu options. First option is to load light from the library. The second option is to delete a light from the library. So once you've patched in a light and saved it into the memory here, you can actually delete that profile if you don't want it anymore. Option number 3 is to patch a light into the library. That means to take the profile that you have already loaded into the controller and assign it to one of our fixture buttons. Option number 4 is to delete a patch light. That means if you have a light that's already assigned to one of our fixtures, you can delete it at this on this menu option. Option number 5 is to edit the light library. You will not need to edit any light library at this point. Option number 6 is to set the WiFLY channel. As this controller has wireless DMX built into it, you can actually assign the WiFLY channel frequency here. Option number 7 is to turn off or to turn on the WiFLY DMX power. Option number 8 is to save the data to the USB. Which data do you want to save? If we create some shows, you can actually save them to a USB drive and recall those at a later point. Option number 9 is load data from USB. If you have saved some shows, you can actually load them up again here under this option. Number 10 is to format the USB disk. If you have a USB drive or a USB stick that you have not used before, you want to format it first so that it will read this controller will read that USB drive. Option 11 is to set the strobe settings, and we'll go into that a little bit later. Number 12 is to delete the memory. Look at your manual on how to delete the memory, as it requires a password. To delete all data, you will also need that password. Please check out your owner's manual. Once again, menu option number 14, factory settings. To reset everything back to factory settings, you will need the password. Refer to your owner's manual. Option number 15 is to change the passcode. If you want to set your own password, refer to your owner's manual on how to do the passcode. Option number 16 is to update the firmware version that is available as new profiles and new features become available for this controller. At this time, we will not be doing any firmware version updates. And the first thing we want to do is you want to go into the library, and so we can start patching lights or bringing them into the controller. And you do this by hitting the setup button, and you want to hold it for about 3 seconds. You'll see that the first option is to load a light from the library. That is your first step of setting up the WiFly NE1. On option 1, you want to press down on the dial enter button so you can access the profiles that are in the USB drive. As you can see, you can load all of the library, or you can select the individual profiles. And what you want to do is you want to only load the lights that you have. So say you have a Crazy 8, as you can see here, channel 1 mode, or Crazy 8 channel 12 mode. Once you find the light that you want to patch in, all you have to do is press the enter button. Operation complete. That profile is now loaded into the controller. Let's go ahead and load a few more profiles. Okay, now that we have lights loaded into the library, we want to patch a light into the controller. So how do we do that? We go to option number 3 to patch a light, and we press enter. Here we have the light profiles that we have loaded from our USB drive into the controller. Here we have our Inno Pocket Wash 9-channel mode. We want to patch this light simply by pressing enter. The controller asks me which fixture I want to use. So all I have to do is select the fixture, and it tells me the starting address of DMX is channel 28 on this particular fixture. So the first thing we want to do is we want to select a fixture. On our function buttons here, we have up to 12 fixtures that we can select. I'm going to go ahead and select this one, and I'm going to press enter. And now we have patched this light into this button right here. Let's go ahead and patch one more light, our Crazy 8. We're going to patch that one, press enter. Tells me to select the fixture, and it's going to start at address 37. So I'm going to pick fixture 2 and press enter. So now I've patched 2 lights. Let's go ahead and patch one more. Event bar Q4, enter. This one will start at channel 49. Let's select fixture 3, enter. And now we're done. Once we've patched our lights into the controller, let's escape this page. Brings us back to our main menu. We are going to go ahead and exit the menu at this time. First, we see here our antenna. This is for our wireless DMX. We also have an indicator here of our WiFLY channels. And if you are using this, and you will see a green light turn on when you have wireless connection. On the left hand side, you see that we have several buttons. One is the fixture, color, gobo, effect, show, and pause. Next section is the function or fixtures. Here we have 1 through 12. So we can set up to 12 different fixtures, or we can access 12 different functions of each light. Here we have 4 knobs that can control functions of the light, or we can also get into the actual DMX traits of the light, such as pan, pan fine, tilt, tilt fine, dimming, strobing, or any other DMX feature that the light might have. Here we have our menu key, and this one is mainly used when we're doing our setup. Here we have our escape key, which also acts as a page key for our memory. This controller has up to 12 memory banks. Here we have 1 through 6, and when you hit the page button, you can access another 6 more scenes. Here we have our dial enter knob, which we will use mostly for setup. This controller also has a strobe button that you can use as a bump button, or you can actually go into the strobe settings and make it a latch button where when you press it, it will stay on. And here, this slider, you can adjust the strobe rate. Here we have our blackout button, which allows you to turn off all the lights while they're going through their sequences at any time. We also have a master dimmer, which allows you to dim the lights as necessary. So here we have our fixture mode. When we select the fixture mode, then you want to select your fixture, as you can see right here. And here we have our dial enter knob, and it tells us it's our Inno Pocket Wash. It tells us the address and how many channels we're using. We're also able to use our knobs that you see right here in the middle, and we can actually go into the different features of the light or the different channels. And when you go into this menu right here, you'll see that this knob is now corresponding to the pan, and we can pan our light, and we can tilt it. Let's go ahead and tilt it towards the camera here. Now we've pre-selected a color of red here, but let's go into our menu here, and we can actually dim down the red using our knob, or I can add green, which is our next function of the light. And if I need to access the additional features of the light, all I do is turn my dial right here, and now I'm able to access blue, white, shutter, dimmer, or whatever other features this light might have, or your light might have. Here we have our color mode. So now that we've selected, first you want to do is you want to select your fixture, and now you can go into the color mode, and you can actually select different colors that are preset to your light. Here we have our Inno pocket wash, and these are individual colors that are already programmed into our color mode. Once again, you're able to go into the fixture mode and adjust your own settings on a fixture such as this, where you can adjust the red, green, blue, and whatever other color your fixture might have. Up next we have our gobo button, which is our gobo mode. First you want to select your fixture, and then you want to go to your gobo, and now you're able to scroll through the different gobos that your light might have. As you can see, nothing is lighting up right now because the light that I have hooked up right here does not have any gobos. Our next mode is our effect mode. Once again, you want to select your fixture. Here we have our Inno pocket wash selected, and we'll go ahead and set a color. This one does not have any gobos, so no gobos are selected. An effect gives you a movement effect. So here we have our first effect, and using our dials we can speed up our effect or slow it down. The second knob is for effect phase. If I had multiple of these type of lights, I can actually make one a little bit faster than the other, which is what we call a phase effect. And here I am able to adjust it on the second knob. We're also able to control the size of the effect. As you can see right here, I can concentrate my light in a very narrow area, or I can widen it simply by using the dial. I can also reverse the effect by using this dial, and that changes the direction of the effect. Here we have some different movement effects, and once again we can speed them up, widen it out, and change directions. Our next mode is our show mode. Here is where you would access the built-in shows that your light might have pre-programmed into it. As you can see, there are no pre-selected shows on this fixture, but here is an example. Our pause button works only with the effect or the show buttons. Once again, we'll select our fixture. We'll select an effect, which is a movement effect. We'll speed it up a little bit here using our dials. And when we press our pause button, it will pause the light right where you stop it. As you can see, we have some buttons here numbered 1 through 6. We also have a page button right here, so we're able to do up to 12 different memory scenes into this controller. This is how easy it is to create a scene. First, select your fixture, then select the color. Make sure to bring up your dimmer, go ahead and select the color. And we can do a static scene by going back to the fixture, and I'm just going to move the light. Say I want to use this for uplighting. Let's go ahead and tilt this up. And all I have to do is hold the memory button right here. Operation is complete. We have now created that scene. Let's create a movement scene. Once again, we have our fixture selected. Let's select a different color. And then we'll do a movement effect. We'll speed it up. We'll widen it out. Slow it down a little bit. And once again, we hold our memory button when we've now created 2 scenes in a matter of seconds. You want to repeat these functions over and over again and create all the different scenes that you would like right here. Once again, you can always dim it. You can also pause it, or you can also black it out, which continues the movement but blacks out the lighting. The WiFLY NE1 controller can communicate wirelessly with any of our ADJ WiFLY products, such as our transceiver, or some of our products that have the WiFLY built in, such as our Inno Spot LED WiFLY. If you'd like to connect your lights directly to the controller has a 3-pin DMX output in the rear. To set up the WiFLY channel, simply go to the menu option under menu setup. Select the option number 6 to set the WiFLY channel. Press enter. And here you're able to set the WiFLY channel, which is the frequency that you will be using to communicate with the controller and other WiFLY products. So now that we've set our WiFLY channel, we go to option number 7 to set the WiFLY power. Hit your enter button. Here's where you turn on and off the WiFLY power. And now you'll see the WiFLY indicator light is on, means that it is transmitting the WiFLY signal. To exit, simply hit the setup button one more time, and now you're back to your regular controller options. So there you have our WiFLY NE1 overview on how to set up your lights, how to patch them in, and how to create scenes. Once again, you can use this controller wirelessly or wired on the back of the controller. For additional advanced options, please refer to your owner's manual.